Do you like wrestling? Do you ever watch wrestling?
No. Nope.
And The Rock said, whoa, 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 because I...
What's up, gang? Welcome to Watch Wrestling with Mike Wellman, the podcast that breaks down the biggest stories in and out of the ring. I am your host. My name is Mike Wellman. Thank you for hitting that play button. Thank you for checking out the podcast. We appreciate you here as always. This is going to be our WrestleMania XL, WrestleMania 40 review show. And folks, we are still here. We are still standing. My television is still intact. My house is still intact because, folks, Cody Rhodes has finished the story. Thank goodness. I did not want to have to explain to Mrs. Wellman why I burned our house to the ground in sheer frustration if the outcome of WrestleMania ended any other way. So, we got a lot to get to. Cody finished the story. What else happened at WrestleMania? We got a new world champion, Damian Priest. We had a new world champion, Drew McIntyre. We have a new women's champion, Bayley. The same mommy on top, Rhea Ripley. Sami Zayn is the new Intercontinental Champion. We're going to go over the whole show. Lots of stuff to get to. And joining me on this XL edition of the podcast is the herald of wrestling hot takes. His name is Wrestling Fan Kris, a.k.a. the Notorious KRS. What's up, Kris?
What's going on? Good to be here. I'm glad your house is not burned down either, so...
Yeah, because you were at my house for at least night 2 of WrestleMania, so you might have been...
Good. That's a great point, and I'm glad.
Breathing in the flames. If I did cause an arson. Is it arson if you do it to yourself?
That's a good question. We'd have to consult someone.
I don't know.
About that one.
But yes... We're here to talk about WrestleMania 40. So much happened at WrestleMania 40. Like we said on the preview show, we can expect a lot of stuff that we haven't seen before production-wise, and I would say we got that. And like I said, most importantly, we got a finished story. So one thing I think I got to get to quickly and surgically here is, I think last year after WrestleMania, I think I said that I think I might have referred to someone as the J.R.R. Tolkien, or no, I'm sorry, I may have referred to someone as the George R.R. Martin of wrestling bookers who couldn't finish a story, that being Paul Triple H Levesque. And I think that the way this one ended up playing out, I mean, let's just say it was better than the series finale of Game of Thrones, and George R.R. Martin hasn't finished those books yet, so I think I need to walk back my statements about Triple H being the George R.R. Martin of wrestling bookers, because this story played out fantastically.
I mean, I agree, but the only thing is, it looked like it wasn't. You know, like if things went the right, like I think they wanted it to go, it would have been Rock and Roman, and then he would have definitely been the George R.R. Martin, but it didn't. So good for Triple H.
Well, now people are saying,
it's a new era.
Well, now people are saying online that this is really getting in the weeds, that them pivoting away from The Rock was actually part of this whole story, and that it wasn't really a pivot. It was more of an on-screen pivot. It being an off-screen, behind-the-scenes pivot was actually kayfabe, so then they were actually going to do this the whole time and just make us kind of salivate for it more. That's kind of the real canon with some people.
If that's true, then Triple H is the greatest booker since, like, I don't know, George Scott or whoever, you know, like that would be amazing. So, you know what? Let's choose to believe that and say it's a new era and Triple H is a great booker.
Well, I just had to get that out of the way. And perhaps Cody losing at WrestleMania last year was okay. We're not going to delve too deep into this, but I had to say that. So we're going to get to all of WrestleMania 40 and the results of both nights. But before we go any farther,
I'm on everything.
that's right. We need you to be kind, like, subscribe, and share. Watch Wrestling with Mike Wellman. You already know where to find the podcast. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Watch Wrestling, patreon.com/Watch Wrestling for the post shows that we put out on our Patreon. and other content that we have there. Facebook, Watch Wrestling Pod. What up, Facebook family? We see you out there, Facebook cousins. Appreciate the Facebook followers. Instagram, Watch Wrestling Podcast. You do not want to miss the reels and the posts and the behind-the-scenes middle fingers on our Instagram, folks. Also on X, at WWrestlingPod. The master of fire tweets, yours truly. I don't know if they're still called fire tweets, fire posts on X. And, we look forward to having zero problems, big fella. Isn't that right? Wrestling fan Kris?
Correct. And Sheamus is back. That's all I'm saying. That's weird that you said fella. It reminded me of that. Never mind. Sorry.
Well, I don't want zero problems with that big fella. But yes, let's get into WrestleMania 40. So the way we're going to do this, we are going to start with the main event and kind of work our way down. But the main event of night 1 pertained to the main event of night 2. So we're just going to start with the big tag team match on night 1. Then hit over to night 2, the big main event. Then we'll kind of rehash the rest of the card here. So, all right, night 1, the tag team match to determine the stipulation of night 2. So in this one, we had The Rock pinning Cody Rhodes, and this one was for you, Mama Rhodes. What did you think overall of the tag team match that main evented night 1, Kris?
I mean, it was long, but it was fine with that. Like, I liked everything about it. You know, I had a lot of fun during the match. Seeing The Rock again was great. Actually seeing him like halfway decent in the ring too, you know, it wasn't like an old guy who comes in and like lumbers around and is gassed like 5 minutes in. He was pretty ring ready. And he didn't do a lot, but he didn't do nothing. It was good to see the people's elbow again. He was talking his shit. He yelled at the referee. It was great. He was great. Roman was Roman. You know, that was exactly how it should be. And I don't know, Rollins and Cody kind of took a beating, which I kind of liked.
Yeah. So the entrances I thought were interesting here. So The Rock had his big flaming Brahma bull that I hope that there were fire extinguishers nearby for, because those clothes that he was wearing looked pretty flammable to me.
Yeah.
Those $1,000 shirts. No, and then he came out with the People's Championship, which was bestowed upon him by the widow of Muhammad Ali at the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony the night before WrestleMania Night 1. So when he was when Muhammad Ali was getting inducted. So to me, for someone to come out with their own championship, that's about as legitimate as it can get, right? Because it's not just a gimmick title where it's got your logo on it, although it did have the Brahma Bull on it, which it was actually a decent-looking championship as well. Yeah. But I just feel like if you're going to come out and have your own championship, that's about as good of a lineage and an origin as you can get, getting it bestowed upon by Muhammad Ali's widow at the Hall of Fame for being the People's Champion. Yeah,
I mean, and it also fits with The Rock, the Final Boss thing he was going with too, you know? So it was fine. Yeah, it looks good. Like you said, it was a pretty good looking championship. It wasn't like some old I'm not gonna say not the FTW belt, that's fine. Or the $1 million belt, which is like kind of cool. Everyone loves $1 million belt, but it's just dollar signs, so it's kind of doesn't look legit. But this one looks really nice.
Well, I mean, I'm sure this belt didn't cost like $50 million like the $1 million belt did.
That's a good point.
According to the late Virgil. But yes, so it looked good. And yes, the Final Boss also does kind of need a championship. I mean, he could have, if this didn't happen, they could have come out with the Final Boss championship. You know, he is of that stature where having his own championship. I mean, I'm not saying he has to defend it and then lose it and then it become a thing. But yes, him carrying a championship didn't seem out of place. It almost seemed like he needed to have a championship standing there with Roman, who is at this point the Universal Undisputed Champion. And they just, the two of them look great out there with their Samoan tribal tattoos and their belts. Mm-hmm. And The Rock, like you said, he looked like he was actually in really good ring shape. He didn't do too much, but I'm not sure he broke a sweat in this match, but not in a bad way. Like, I think he made it through the match pretty, like, he didn't look really tired out either by the end. So that was good. I think we didn't get a ton, but it was long, like you said, with the entrances, you know. So we got a little mixing up of The Rock and Seth Rollins in there. Seth Rollins putting on some wrestling moves to show the great one in the first few minutes.
Yeah, that was good.
So then we get The Rock at one point. He tells the referee, "You count, you're fired." Yes, this is logical to me. This makes sense. If you count, you're fired. Like that's how in all those old matches where the heel is like the authority or Triple H, just come out and say it. You know,
don't make it so much better. Yeah,
don't make it some subtext here. Let's just say it. If you count me out, you're fired. So there you go. All rules out the window. The Rock wins the match automatically because what's he gonna say? He could have his shoulders pinned to the mat, and all he has to do is look at the ref and say, "If you count me out, you're fired." So there you go. The Rock just won the match right there. You know. So, but yeah, he says, "If you count, you're fired." And then lot of back and forth here. We had the double pedigree. We had both of these people who have taken very different paths to using the pedigree. Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes pedigreeing these gigantic Samoan arms on the map.
It was a great spot, but yes, those it looked weird. It was a great spot, and I like it, and it's fine. It wasn't out of place, but yeah, those giant arms made the pedigrees look kind of awkward.
So then, The Rock whipped Cody with that belt, and the first attempt at the People's Elbow, Cody countered with a Cody cutter. This was amazing.
Yes, Cody was on top of his game. It was great.
And my prediction for this match was that Roman Reigns was going to eat the pinfall here, but it wasn't Roman. It was Cody. He got pinned by The Rock, and the Bloodline, the new Wild Samoans, The Rock and Roman Reigns, end night one with their hands raised. So that was it. And I like this because it gave us this sense of both dread for Cody, but then you also kind of thought well, now I think Cody's going to win tomorrow because the odds are so stacked against him, So it was a decent match and a great return, I thought, for The Rock, and the whole spectacle of these four guys coming out was great too. They made it the whole show, which we'll get to. A lot of these entrances were just made to feel so larger than life, I feel like.
Yeah, and it wasn't cartoonish. Sometimes they're a little too cartoonish, but this year was a good year of just gravitas, big spectacle, important.
So then, in this match, we did have Cody Rhodes hitting a rock bottom on The Rock through a table.
Oh, yeah.
And then that was when Roman gave Seth Rollins a spear through the barricade. Like in a video game where there's only 3 things you can do on the outside, and you have to be positioned in the exact right spot to do them, and then the thing comes on the screen like on your Nintendo 64. Hit Z and right trigger, and you can unlock the spear, and then there goes Roman right into Seth Rollins. There you go.
That's good. But it was cool. It was good though. As much as it's those kind of seem, like you said, that's the only 2 things you can kind of do outside. Obviously, it was going to happen. It worked though. It was a really booked. It flowed. The match flowed, even though it was kind of slow and long. So that's all you can ask for.
Yeah. So we are going to talk more about night 1 and the show as a whole, but we can't bury the lead any further here, folks. That set up night 2. The Bloodline rules on night 2. Cody versus Roman Reigns. Now, these entrances, I thought, were fantastic. Cody's entrance with the skull. I'm wearing a skull mask. I'm going to get one from now on. When you see me wearing a skull mask, you'll know that I bit this style from Cody. This was so cool.
Unexpected, too. I was okay.
So Cody got a decent pop coming out of the Cody Vader wearing a mask for his entrance. And the LED screens were really great with the Wrestlemania and the XL, and just the way they've been using the screens lately has been a lot better than in the past. In the past, it kind of just looked like they stretched some image or something like that, video on the wrong pixelated size wall. But no, this was great. This was Cody was coming out for the final battle. And that's one thing. They really did build this matchup. By the time we got to Cody's entrance on night 2, this to me was the final battle. This was I'm going to keep talking and comparing this to Game of Thrones. This was, to me, the final battle. Everyone involved made it very clear they were going into the final battle, even the way Paul Heyman was like looking at Roman Reigns, it was like, it's like, on Game of Thrones when it's like the night before the big battle, they know tomorrow morning is the big battle, and some of them might be dead at the end of it. Everything's going to be different after this final battle. Like, there's nothing after this. We've built to only this. There's not going to be a cage match next month. There's not going to be an 8-man tag. Like, this is the moment. We've exhausted all other, forms of combat and tribulation, and now it comes down to this. And then, so you've got Cody's entrance, and it's like these flaming banners. Like, it was incredible. So then Cody got a decent pop, and then Brandy Rose got a huge pop at WrestleMania. Her showing up at Cody's side really got the crowd hyped up. So no Pharaoh, though. We didn't see Pharaoh this time, which was probably better for Pharaoh.
Yeah, I was actually
crowd.
I was waiting for that, but I'm glad.
So, especially because they had a lot of fireworks and pyro.
Yes.
So Cody makes his entrance, and you're looking at the guy's face in these moments when they're walking down to see, can you gleam anything? Can you show me anything? Are you too happy? Do you have a boo-boo face? Like, you're going to lose? What are we looking at here? And Cody was pretty stoic, I thought, walking down. I mean, he's oddly smiled out of context at a few points, but no, but he was walking down. It was like, again, the final battle here. You're walking down, because in Cody's story, this really is the final battle. This is the last chance to finish the story. You didn't finish it last year. No, you're not going to have another main event opportunity at WrestleMania. The odds are stacked against you, but here we are. So, is he about to do it? That's what I was asking myself. So then Roman's entrance was great too. It was like he was in an auditorium with an orchestra playing his music, Paul Heyman by his side. I like how they didn't have the Bloodline come out with him. Not that they ever do for the matches, but still, they could have. Just Roman and Cody out there, at least at the beginning. Meanwhile, 10 guys later.
I know, but...
But, so, and it starts off great. And, this match is happening with these two on night 2. It's just Roman and Cody. And it's going to... The overbooking is going to... the Bloodline's going to come out at some point. But once it got to the point where you're like, okay, I think, somebody's got to come out pretty soon. I kind of just wanted to see these guys keep wrestling, just Cody and Roman. And I think Roman said something to Cody, like right when they were getting ready to square off and the match started, he said something like, one more dance, something like that, which I thought was cool.
Oh, yeah.
So, but again, this was the big final battle between these two. And so it's Cody's last chance. Realistically, Roman is the real final boss here. I mean, he's been the champion for almost 4 years,
That's pretty crazy, yeah.
My wife told me she saw TikToks of little kids who were crying, and they were so happy when Cody won, spoiler, because they had never seen a different WWE champion in their fandom.
Oh, yeah, that's
because
a good point.
They're so young.
Wow. Yeah.
Which is just hilarious to me. But, so yeah, I just wanted to see these guys keep going, right? Just Cody and Roman. Like, let's just make this a 40-minute classic here. But then, the first person to interfere in the match, Jimmy Uso, comes out, starts beating on Cody, and then we get the music of Jey Uso. So Jey Uso comes out, and he and his brother meet on the ramp, and then, they're not just going to fight their way through the curtain. This has to have a finality. Every moment has to have this is like when the ladder match happens, there's like the big spot where that guy's not getting up. So these guys, Jey Uso spears Jimmy Uso off the ramp through a table, which didn't seem like it had a lot of protection underneath it. It seemed like it was just a table on the cement ground.
It looks pretty big. Yeah, it was like good, scary looking spot, yeah.
So that means one member of the Bloodline presumably dispatched, right? So what's going to happen next? So then the next person out we get is Solo Sikoa, just bops Cody with another Samoan spike. Wasn't wearing a hoodie this time. He comes out in his gear, even though he wasn't wrestling. And when last year he came out in a hoodie, it was like hidden. But
yeah.
So he comes out, he's in the middle of the ring, and he's telling Roman, he's like, come on, get up. And Roman's like, I know.
Yeah, that was good.
funny.
That was a good. I loved it. Yeah.
So the interesting thing about this moment was Solo Sikoa comes out, interrupts. I believe Cody was about to do like a third crossroads on Roman or something, and then Roman spears Cody with everybody with Solo in the ring, and pins Cody, and Cody kicks out, and then John Cena's music hits. So John Cena comes out. This was interesting, right? But again, Cody already kicked out. Like, the guy came out, and presumably they could have continued to just do a 2-on-1 beatdown. You just keep pinning him until he stops kicking out, right? Just bludgeon him if you have to. But, it's like you came out to interfere. You interfered. Roman hit his powerful finisher. Cody kicked out. You didn't need John Cena. But then John Cena comes out. It was just like a weird timed thing. So Cena comes running down, throws that little towel in the crowd, was it Solo AA through the table?
Yes.
What happened? Then he goes in the ring, and the tribal chief Roman Reigns eats a AA attitude adjustment by John Cena to Roman Reigns. And then The Rock's music hits. So the final boss, The Rock, he comes out. And he and John Cena face off. And now it's like we're back at WrestleMania 28 here. I mean, these guys are looking around, looking at opposite ends of the crowd like it's thrice in a lifetime here at WrestleMania 40. So what did The Rock hit the? He said something to John Cena, or he gave him a rock bottom, and he's like, "Get the out of my ring," or he said, "Get the out of the Rock's ring," and so then The Rock's standing there in the ring, and then the Undertaker's music hits, and now he wasn't making the run down the ramp. That's for sure. I was curious. I was like, "Are we really gonna sit through an Undertaker entrance here?"
That would have been crazy.
But no, it wasn't The Undertaker. It was the one Dead Man show host, Mark Calloway, in the ring. The new Undertaker, where he's allowed to wear street clothes.
Yeah, right? No, he wasn't wearing a hat. It was weird. He was wearing like a beanie, but not like the Undertaker hat there, like normal, yeah.
The Boneyard match changed him.
That's what it was.
So he comes out, or he's in the ring when the lights come back on, and he just choke slams. The Rock goes to whip The Undertaker with the Mama Rhodes belt, and The Undertaker choke slams The Rock, folks, in the main event of WrestleMania 40. I mean, geez, we had the crowd going nuts for ECW all weekend. I think I saw Spike Dudley on my TV at one point in here. We got RVD on the Hall of Fame show for a moment or two. The Dudley Boys, Paul Heyman rocking the headphones and the trench coat. And then we got The Rock and The Undertaker going at it in the main event of WrestleMania. Just bring me right back. What is this, the Attitude Era? Bring me back to 99.
I'll say, was it 99? Yeah, jeez.
So, yeah, so The Rock got choke slammed by The Undertaker. And, folks, this was obviously the moment that we had thought was going to be occupied by another person with a skull as their logo, the Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin. That didn't happen for whatever reason, but that was what I was insinuating on the show last week, which I thought. I was right when I said whether we can see it or we can't. Which, yeah, I don't know what happened. I didn't really even see what happened. I just saw Solo Sikoa go flying through the air, and then then Roman Reigns just went flying through the air. I didn't see anything else.
One of those things.
Why isn't anybody asking questions about that? So now no new members of the Bloodline debuting, although Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful did report earlier in the day that allegedly Jacob Fatu has signed. He's telling people he's signed with WWE. So there was definitely a moment there. Maybe that would have been a true overbooking, and it would have also taken some of the spotlight off of a debuting Jacob Fatu if you're there with The Undertaker and John Cena, right?
Yeah, yep.
I mean, it would have been crazy to see a nice moonsault from Jacob Fatu in the main event here, but yes. So again, this whole thing is just building. Like, The Undertaker does not show up out of thin air. And then thin air also showed up, like I said. John Cena, couldn't see him. These people don't just show up for nothing. Right? This was a call to arms that was received by these legends to take out The Rock and the egomania of the final boss and the Bloodline to help the ultimate babyface, the American babyface.
That's right.
Cody Rhodes. So then Cody, after the Bloodline has been dispatched by the Cody Avengers, Cody sets up Roman again for 3, I believe, crossroads in this match.
Yes.
And then Cody Rhodes pins the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, to win the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship and end the reign of the Tribal Chief. And then from here, we got another 20, 25 minutes, it seemed like, afterwards. This was incredible until it wasn't anymore. So this is my thoughts on the ending of WrestleMania, because like I said, we're going to double back to all the matches, but man. So now we've got Cody Rhodes. This is the moment, folks. This is what we've all wanted for years. The story is finished. I even thought for a second, okay, where do we go from here? Like, what do we do? The story, like, this could have been the series finale of this show, and that's the way they built it, was like, this is the end of a story. Very rarely in wrestling do we ever get these conclusions that have this finality, no pun intended, with the final boss. But they built this thing up like there is no tomorrow. We don't have to worry about next month, next week, the next challenger, the next show. This is it. How will this thing end? And that's what I loved about it. So we get Cody wearing the championship, which I thought was incredible. I didn't think we'd ever see it, to be honest. And
I know.
Yeah, so Cody's got he had several moments in the ring, but so Cody, we get Brandy in the ring, Mama Rhodes comes in the ring, Brody Lee, Brody Huber, Brody Jr., -1. I don't know if he's still signed to AEW, but he was in the ring, which is good. I mean, can you imagine all the things that kid's been through at last year? You get your moment with Cody handing him the belt before the main event of WrestleMania, and now he gets to be in the ring at the conclusion of what is most likely going to go down as the biggest WrestleMania in history, right?
Yeah.
So what a moment. So, and then all the good guys come out. We got LA Knight, Randy Orton, John Cena. He disappeared for a minute or two, but he was back. Kevin Owens, and this was like Bret Hart at WrestleMania 10, getting hoisted up on the shoulders of the Steiner brothers.
Yeah.
Except there was no Owen outside the ring to snarl at him on the way out. But so Cody's getting this heroes celebration, right? And it just never ended. There was just more and more people for Cody to get congratulated by. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in my time as a wrestling fan. So the baby faces are in the ring. Cody, he goes around the ring. I mean, who did I miss any names here as far as who was in the ring with him?
Did you say Sami Zayn was there?
Sami Zayn was there. Seth Rollins was also there.
Uh-huh.
We totally forgot about the Seth Rollins spot in the match. So in the match, I didn't get it at first, but it does make a lot of sense. So in the match, Seth Rollins' music hits, or the Shield music hits. And then Seth Rollins, they're like looking around the arena as if he's going to run from the stands. It would have took him an hour. So he shows up in his Shield gear with a chair. Roman spears him, takes him out. And what that really symbolized was not only was he just being Cody's Shield by just dressing like he was in the Shield, he came in and he was Cody's Shield. He basically baited Roman away from Cody in that moment and sacrificed himself for Cody. And then later, Roman hit Seth with a chair. He just couldn't resist in the same way that Seth hit Roman. And then, I mean, even the way Seth hit the ropes after getting hit in the back with the chair, it's exactly the same way that Roman did it when Seth turned on the Shield originally. But, yeah, so Seth Rollins in his Shield gear, he's out there. Nice black eye from a couple of claymores I feel like he took earlier in the night.
Yeah, right. Uh-huh.
So everybody's in the ring with Cody. And then he grabs the mic and he says he wants two people to come out. Bruce Pritchard and Triple H, they come out. Bruce Pritchard's like, I love you. Triple H, they go nose to nose. Triple H probably said something like, I am the game. And then, Cody, it's just moment after moment of people saying, this is your moment, right? Seth Rollins, he's getting carted off by Kevin Owens on the outside of the ring. Cody leans outside the ring, and Seth Rollins tells him, like, this is your time now. And then John Cena said afterwards that what he told Cody when he hugged him in the ring was that, do you feel the weight of this belt? It's heavier, and it's only going to get heavier, and this is the weight that you have to carry to walk on the path of becoming the greatest of all time. So it was just, there was no amount of superlatives or praise that was not heaped on Cody Rhodes in this moment. He goes outside the ring to the commentary booth, who's standing there. Michael Cole's crying. He looks at Cody and he says, I'm sorry. I love you. And he super kicked him. No, he just, he said, he said, I love you to Cody. And then Corey Graves says, thank you, Cody, to him. And then Pat McAfee says, congratulations, Cody. And Cody goes around to Nick Khan, who was ringside, gets a super serious moment with Nick Khan. Like, I don't know what Nick Khan said to him. That's what I really want to find out. What did Nick Khan whisper into Cody's ear? Was he telling him how much he owes him for this moment?
He's like, which Khan is best now, or something like that.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what he said in that moment. The biggest moment of his company's history. So, and then Cody had a moment in the ring where everybody now kind of clears the ring and they're all like walking up the ramp, and he's got this moment to just bask in his own glory of just holding the championship, standing there in front of the crowds. He pointed up to the heavens a few times, to Dusty Rhodes, his father. And was it the next night when what did somebody say something to him about Dusty? I think it was the next night on Raw. But so yeah, just huge moment, the biggest moment I think in WWE history. This moment, what do you think?
Sure. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, it did signify. Oh my God, it signified like a changing of the guard. Like you said, this WrestleMania is kind of tied into the new era. They've tied it all together, so it is a big moment in that sense where it's like, here's the new era, and Cody's the new champion. I think it's also probably. Maybe we joke about finishing the story we have over the last year, but I mean, it's one of the most well-rounded stories they've told in a while, and to have it actually work and go through and someone actually gets their moment makes it one of the biggest, or not the biggest thing to happen in maybe ever, but in a long time.
Yeah, and I don't mean it's the most like consequential moment, because I think obviously like WCW shutting down and then this Vince McMahon allegations and a couple of the tragedies have also been huge moments in wrestling. I just mean on screen, because this is what I told wrestling fan Kris before we got on the show here. I said, to me, when I'm watching this, Cody Rhodes is Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart, Lex Luger, and John Cena all rolled into one, right? Because he's this super popular, unwaveringly popular babyface in WWE. He can do all the media rounds. He's the chosen one in that the path is cleared for him to be on top of this company. And to top it all off, he's got American flags draped over everything. Apparently, we're celebrating America as well with Cody. The American Nightmare, apparently, is Cody winning things. The American Nightmare. Right? No, it's just the American Nightmare theme, the American flags, the whole... He came out and he had on his gear, he had these like golden winged eagles, which I thought were awesome. Because for one, it reminded me of like Hawkman, and his mask also kind of reminded me of Hawkman, because he also had like the winged eagles as like on the skull mask. But also it signifies the belt, the winged eagle belt that Dusty got to hold, but didn't win, right? And then there's Cody said something in WrestleMania week about how he's going to bring back the winged eagle belt. I don't know if he meant that old original WWF belt, but yes.
That would be crazy.
So it's all American as well. We're going to be hitting the Cody Express pretty soon. He's going to board the USS Intrepid and try to body slam Yokozuna, I'm pretty sure.
You know what? I'll take it.
So
I love that moment. So
they have the perfect guy for this, for needing to put all the weight on one guy's shoulders, which you've got to be honest, aside from Roman, they haven't had that. They've had a lot of guys that can, that are really, they would be the best, and they've had a lot of guys over the past, decade or so that have been very good, but as far as what they need in this moment, Cody's the guy.
Yeah. Yeah, but like you said, he can do everything. He can go on the talk show circuit. He can wear a suit. And he's an uber babyface, which doesn't happen a lot. And I think this is probably, Michael Cole, I made fun of Michael Cole earlier before the show started for crying and stuff, but like, I mean, maybe this is maybe the first time that there's actually someone else they can rely on. Like years past, it's only been one or two people they could go to. Whether it was always John Cena, we know how that went, or whoever, Triple H before that, where like they were just so nervous to do anything besides that one guy. And now maybe they're actually really happy that there's like multiple people now. Like Roman's gonna, if he comes back, he'll be still a huge star. Now Cody's a huge star and actually has the weight of that. So and you can do another like 4 years with Cody now as a champion, right? I mean, if you think about it, a long time. So there's another more business for that. So
well, we're going to talk more about Cody, shocker, before we get out of here. And we're also going to talk more about the tribal chief Roman Reigns before we get out of here. And we're also going to talk more about this new era of WWE. But I do want to pivot just back to the WrestleMania card and just get to the rest of these matches because it really was the dawning of a new era. And we're going to devote some of the end of the show to that. But there was more on the card, folks. So let's get back to night one. So, kicking off WrestleMania, and they really did kick it off here, we had Rhea Ripley defending and retaining her Women's World Championship against the man Becky Lynch. This was a good match, I thought. Band Motionless in White was there to perform Rhea Ripley's entrance. Apparently they're from Pittsburgh or from Pennsylvania, so it wasn't very far travel for them.
Yeah, whenever there's a live performance, it really makes that person like that much cooler, even if the performance is bad. And this was a good performance, but yeah, you really come off like a badass when you have your live band playing your song. It was very good.
Yeah. So the band really got into this. Rhea Ripley really got into this entrance. And like I was saying, the production, I saw there was like a drone camera flying around this stadium, whatever you want to call it. And there was a lot of just the whole production of this was really great. So Rhea comes out. Both her and Becky were wearing face paint. For some reason, they were paying homage to the Thundercats, and I don't know why. But no, like I said, this was a great match. Great. This you predicted, I believe, this would be the match of the night, right? For night one.
Yeah,
and it would have been if it if there was this was definitely top three, right? Even yes. Top three match for sure of night one, and took a few riptides here to put away Becky Lynch, but Rhea Ripley got it done and pinned the man, Mommy, remaining on top. And yeah, like I said, good opening match.
I think it was the right way to go too. I think Rhea Ripley is. You guys gotta keep riding her because she's like very popular with everyone, a good wrestler, and really a superstar. So might as well keep the belt on it. I agree.
Yeah, I thought it was a smart move. You know, you could always do a title change, but they did a lot of, as we'll get to, babyface title changes here.
Yeah.
And, you can't do them in every match. So next up, we had this 6-pack ladder match, which I enjoyed this match.
I'm surprised you say that because of the outcome.
Yeah, so, well, because I blocked it out, the part I didn't like. So this was a good match. Everybody got their stuff in this match. We had DIY coming out as DX, and they didn't just come out as DX. They came out as like old men DX nostalgia run of Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, they did. That's good.
The glow stick DX. So that was cool. So what did we see in this match? New Day came out dressed as Austin Creed just came out dressed as himself. Now, Xavier Wood came out dressed as Apollo / Consequences Creed. Kofi Kingston came out in some Rocky-inspired shorts. I wanted the New Day to win in this match just because of their gear halfway through.
Yeah, right.
So this was an interesting one because it was for 2 separate sets of tag titles. And, to nitpick here, I think we could have done with new belts at WrestleMania, new tag titles, right? This was the moment to do it. You got these 2 belts put up in 2 new sets of belts. Debut them here. Because even if you're going to come out with them next week or next month, you have these WrestleMania moments where people are holding up the old belt. And then a week later you get a new belt. Plus, those belts are these 2 tag team titles are some of the worst championship belts I think I've ever seen.
Yes, and they've been around for so long, too, and they're so bad.
They're literally just... You don't even know that they're championship belts. It's like, what are they holding? What are those things?
Yeah, I hate them.
So, first set of titles to get grabbed was A-Town Down Under, winning the SmackDown tag team titles, apparently.
I mean, I was shocked. Like, I just did not expect that at all.
I was just looking at my phone. I didn't watch. So then R-Truth, the greatest of all time, Ron the Truth Killings, getting that hot tag into the ladder match. Leave it to R-Truth to get tagged into a ladder match. And he ended up climbing the ladder and winning the Raw Tag Team titles. R-Truth finishing the story at WrestleMania, finally. I did like this. I don't like The Miz, but...
Yeah, I know you don't. I thought they were going to win one of the belts. I did, because R-Truth is too popular and too much fun right now. Let him have it. It's fine.
Yeah. And I mean, like, if I would have booked it, I think my choice was better. I think I would have had DIY win one pair of belts and the new catch of the day winning the other set.
I wish one of them had won, but it's okay. I mean, no, I don't know if it's okay. Not with 8-time down. I don't like it, but whatever. It was. We also had the awesome, like, at least DIY got some cool stuff in. Like, we had the Johnny Gargano, like, DDT through the table on the outside. Ciampa did the, like,
Air raid crash off the ladder.
Which I was like, that looks very scary, but it looked awesome.
It did look scary when they were gonna do it. I thought they were gonna they were like just gonna fake and not do it. And then nope, they did it. He's done a few of those, like especially to Gargano. I'm surprised he didn't just do it to Johnny Gargano.
Yeah, right.
Like they did in their street fight in NXT. But yeah, so this was a fun match, and yeah, I mean, an interesting way to put the tag titles on. To separate them, again, just give me new belts. I don't even care who has them. Just give me new belts here.
Yes, please.
Nothing can be worse than these. So then we had Andrade and Rey Mysterio. Andrade filling in for Dragon Lee against Santos Escobar and Dom Mysterio. Technically, Rey beat Dom in this match, right? Rey Mysterio now 2-0 against Dominic Mysterio. The streak is alive. Rey versus Dom.
The new streak, yes.
So yeah, this one, decent match. Joaquin Wilde got his WrestleMania moment. He wasn't even on the card. He did his little slingshot thing across the...
Yep.
They should have really tried and seen if they could like loosen those ropes or tighten them, whatever they got to do, to see how far they could have got him to fly. Like, can you get him to go kind of like up to the ramp? Like, how far can we go here?
That'd be nuts.
No, that would have been like stuntman stuff, and he probably would have.
Yeah, we can't do that anymore.
No.
Yeah.
So, but he did his little slingshot move. A lot of people getting involved in this one, including Philadelphia Eagles. Apparently, they're Philadelphia Eagles legends. Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson, two chubby luchadors.
I know.
Two chubby gringos getting involved here with luchador masks on.
I mean, what a weird, whatever. It was fun. It's nice to have celebrities there, especially like the host city celebrities. But what a weird match to integrate them in. But whatever. It
was just a completely one-off, like not even like bumping into him behind the scenes beforehand. Like, hey, Rey Mysterio, I'm a big fan. Hey, why don't you come over here? Like nothing, zero backstory at all. Or like they bumped into each other, and the other guy bumped into him, shoulder bumped him, and he wasn't nice or something. I don't know.
But whatever.
Just zero backstory. So,
but I'm glad that Andrade and Escobar get to be on WrestleMania, because I think they're both very good in the ring. Especially, I love Escobar a lot. Yeah, so hopefully this means they're on the upward trajectory. I mean, they already were, but let's keep it going. Yeah.
I could go for some singles matches here. Rey versus Santos. Rey versus Andrade.
Yes.
Andrade versus Santos. No, notice I didn't say anybody versus Dom.
Carlito and Santos, or Carlito and Andrade. That's going to be good. I'm excited.
Carlito versus Dom would be a good match.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Here we go.
But, of course, for some reason, they got to have 18 guys involved in these matches.
Yeah.
18 luchadors. So then we had the brothers. Just two brothers. They're just two brothers. These guys have been down since day one of their lives, and finally got to settle it at WrestleMania. This was just an average match. I thought they did a spot at the end where Jimmy tried to beg Jey Uso for mercy and then turn on him at the last second, and that was about it.
I really thought it was going to be a longer match with a little more drama, but it's all right. I mean, like you said, it was a decent match. It was well worked. It was just kind of there.
Lil Wayne involved in doing the walkout for Jey Uso. First, rapping the first half of the first verse of A Milli, then just kind of freestyling over the Jey Uso song.
It's pretty nice.
Interesting. I wonder how filled in on the story Lil Wayne was going into this, or if he even knew like what day it was.
Probably not.
And this one really, the brothers match was really the video packages on this show. I only saw a few because apparently I'm not enough of a baller for the tier of Peacock that you need to not have like pizza dough ads or whatever I was watching.
Me either, yeah.
Insurance ads, because I only got a few of these video packages. There was a lot of commercials on my Wrestlemania this year, but we did get the brothers hype
It was
package.
good, yeah.
That was good.
I think another year, in a different year, like maybe when The Rock wasn't around or Cody and Roman was more important, this would have been like a bigger thing. But it's okay. It was still fine.
Then we got Mark Henry's favorite match, Jade Cargill, Naomi, and Bianca Belair taking on Damage Control. So these gals had a big special elevator that I thought was really cool. Yep. They just look like a really cool trio. Like they just look like a really cool faction here. Bianca, Jade, and Naomi. And then so they won the match. The whole thing built to getting Jade Cargill in the match. She had this awesome entrance. They are really building her up as like the Undertaker level of entrances with Jade Cargill.
I know.
And she comes out and it's like she doesn't have to do much, and that's good. Like, you know, the whole thing about Goldberg was like, yeah, he had this meteoric rise and he didn't have to do much, and then obviously he got exposed like over and over again once he got to the top, kind of a thing. But up until that's, you know, he didn't need a lot of moves to when he was on the rise. So like with Jade Cargill, obviously she's probably training very intensely in the Performance Center and everything because they haven't had her on TV much since she signed. But yeah, just, you know, make it a big moment when she's in the ring, and all she has to do is, you know, just execute in those big moments. That's all.
Yeah.
No.
And
yeah,
people liked that. I mean, they were waiting for her to get the tag, and they popped big, so
yeah,
it's working.
So I think that I really hope that they keep these three together, because they were at the press conference. These three just kind of like chatting and talking to me was some of the most entertaining stuff of any group. Like a lot of the stuff seems forced with these pairings and groupings, like when they're doing backstage stuff. But these three really were like super happy to have their like big moment at WrestleMania, and they were just like, it's like put the mic in Bianca's hands more often. That's
absolutely.
That's my takeaway. And Naomi.
Please.
Yeah. So then we had the match of the night, folks. The incredible match, Gunther versus Sami Zayn, which resulted in a new Intercontinental Champion, Sami Zayn, finishing the story against Gunther, folks. I didn't think it was going to happen. I was so happy when it did. It makes a lot of sense. Hell of a match.
I think it was, man, I'll say it was the best match of the night. And I think wrestling-wise it was. I mean, the tag match was better just because it was The Rock. But it was very good. I like the story they told in this match. I like that Gunther was just toying with him and wouldn't put him away, and that kind of cost him. Like his hubris was his downfall, and Sami Zayn's always good at being the like underdog guy who like takes a beating but can always come back and just have enough to win. You know, Sami Zayn's also being a pest heel. Sami Zayn's just really good, so I'm glad he's the Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, they did this moment backstage ahead of the match with Kevin Owens kind of standing there, you know, before Sami Zayn went out there. Like, they really put the focus on Sami Zayn beforehand, like going through the emotions, which I thought is a really nice touch. They've been doing a lot. And they did they do the walkthrough with Sami that they've been doing, where they follow you right through gorilla position, right through Pat Patterson position? No,
yes.
Right through Gerald Briscoe position.
Yes, they did do that with him. Yeah, he met Kevin Owens right before that, and they went with him the whole way.
Yeah, they walked him right out with the camera, which I thought was good. So, and then they brought, you know, Mama Mama Zayn into this one, Sami Zayn's wife, getting involved. I do like how they can differentiate between when your family is part of the story versus they really are just here because it's a big moment and they're in the crowd, and we'll show them for the sake of showing them, but we're not going to like beat this lady up, right? Or she's not part of the show.
Yeah.
But these people are people and they have people, right? So showing Sammy's family and all that stuff, right? Otherwise, they'd have to make a fake family, a generic family.
Hey, yeah. Very good. Oh man.
So, like I said, hell of a match, hell of a kick from Sami Zayn, and just very similar ending to the tag team main event of night 1 of last year's WrestleMania. Just Sami Zayn, beat red, needlessly long hair, blowing in the wind, just runs across the ring with a haluva kick and beats Gunther. Best Intercontinental Champion of all time, Sami Zayn. No, just kidding. He's not there yet.
But it's going to be nice to have him have that belt and just defend it all the time. I can't wait. There's just a lot of people who would be good to see him go against, so I'm looking forward to that.
It was great. I really think that Gunther doesn't lose anything. Like, he's not going down the card. If anything, he's going up the card, right? And especially now after Raw, we've got guys like Ilya Dragunov showing up. I think that both of these guys, still Gunther and Sami Zayn, there's a lot of good matchups for them coming out of this, which is always cool.
I mean, Gunther might be the first guy in a while who was a legitimate Intercontinental Champion and then actually moves up the card and actually becomes a champion. Like they used to do that all the time. This might be where they're going here.
So then, like I said, then we had the main event, which was a tag match, which we went over already. Then we got to night 2. Night 2, I thought, was overall the better night, just because I felt like it was more consequential stuff, more big moments.
And the crowd was much better because it was warmer. Because that crowd was really flat on night 1, and they were much better on night 2.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the weather. Michael Cole was giving us weather updates on night 1 all night, giving us the westerly winds, miles per hour, and the precipitation, and
what it actually feels like as opposed to what the temperature is.
Yeah, the real feel of the temperature coming from Michael Cole here. It mattered because apparently it was so cold that the crowd was just dead. And they weren't dead. It was a huge football stadium.
A good point, yeah.
And it was cold. And there wasn't any surprises on night 1. There was no holy shit moments. Obviously, Sami Zayn, great moment. The Rock wrestling is a great moment. But there was no, again, glass shattering, gong, Undertaker gong on night 1. Night 1 was pretty standard fare as far as WrestleMania matches go. So into night 2, the weather was a little warmer, apparently. And you know who let us know that? Who let us know the weather was warmer on night 2? Stephanie McMahon.
I don't remember.
Stephanie McMahon on screen. So we saw Stephanie at the Hall of Fame, ringside, wearing her ECW Alliance throwback gear with her leather Kangol with an ECW patch on it there to support her real man, Paul Heyman. And that was the first time we saw Stephanie on camera since her departure as co-CEO of WWE.
Oh, yeah.
When Vince McMahon came back into power. So lot there. But we saw her Friday night. And then we saw her on Instagram taking photos with Paul Heyman. And then we saw her opening the show on night 2. Welcome to WrestleMania. It's time to play the game. The McMahon-Helmsley era.
Yes, it is.
Very, very interesting that Stephanie was back on television for this. The whole weekend was geared toward letting everybody know that we are in the Paul Levesque era of wrestling. Can't call it the Renaissance era because Cody trademarked that one himself.
Nice.
Cody Runnels trademarked that one. So apparently we're in the Jean-Paul Levesque era.
Oh, I never thought we would see that.
And then we'll get to the Terror Rising era.
Oof.
So
that already happened in like 2002, 2006.
oh yeah. So Stephanie out in the ring, welcoming us, letting us know that it's a little bit warmer out here. It was like 60 degrees apparently instead of 40. So that's good. I'm happy for all the people who bought tickets.
Yeah.
So the first match of the night, Seth freaking Rollins defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Drew McIntyre. Great match. This was a great match from these two.
Oh yeah, started off right. Another good opener, like in night one. CM Punk was on commentary, being CM Punk, you know.
CM Punk was on commentary. You know what I don't get, Chris? And I think my brain is too full of these internet memes. You know, like when Jack Perry looks into the camera on the pre-show of All In and says, "That's real glass, cry me a river." I know exactly what he was talking about, and I did a double take and said, "Did he just say that?"
Yeah.
Right? There's so many things that are like that. I don't know what the CM Punk, like the kiss to Drew McIntyre's girlfriend or wife was in reference. I don't know the meme. The meme levels here are too high for me right now. I don't know what that reference was, and I wanted to say that. I hope somebody can let me know if it was just something simple.
Please let me know too, because I tried. I didn't want to say anything. I looked around on the internet to find out, and I still don't know.
It's hard to Google what a certain reference somebody did on wrestling means.
Yeah,
you just got to really surf the comments section,
and that's a tough place to be. So I tried not to do that.
That's bad for your mental health. So CM Punk was on commentary, did a great job on commentary, like usual. He was out there in a nice 3-piece suit, which I'm going to copy him and buy that suit probably.
Very nice, yeah.
And, he's got his robot arm with him. And a lot of claymores in this one. Seth Rollins had a black eye, nice swollen eye by the end of this match.
We almost had a Sheamus, Daniel Bryan. I thought we were going to come right out with the Claymore and it was going to be over.
Yeah, Drew tried to finish this one quick. But then, no, they just had to go have a nice, great match.
Oh, yeah.
So then Drew McIntyre gets the job done, finally gets his WrestleMania moment in front of, what was it, like 70,000 people in night two, something like that, 60, 70,000?
Yeah, so I think it was like 70-something, yeah.
Finally, instead of just in front of a pandemic-scared group of producers in the Performance Center, Drew McIntyre. And what did I say, Chris? I said, give him a nice long moment here. Let him bask it in, which he did. So then he goes over and he's taunting CM Punk, his arch nemesis, with the world championship. And he's like sexually crawling across the table, which kind of creeped me out a little bit. It was a little weird.
It was weird, yes.
Crawling across the table over to CM Punk. Like it was a Raw magazine a photo shoot. Are you the centerfold of a Raw magazine here, Drew?
Very good. Oh, man.
I mean, we're going back to 1999 with The Rock and The Undertaker. So then CM Punk stands up. He's had enough. He takes off the arm brace and beats Drew McIntyre with it. And then while CM Punk is stomping out Drew McIntyre,
blood between these two men. Punk's on the injured list because of McIntyre.
We hear
he hasn't forgotten it.
The music.
No. Oh my God. No way. Oh my God. He's coming. Senor.
CM Punk smiling. He set up. CM Punk went out there to goad Drew McIntyre into a fight just so he could set Drew up for the screw job and cost him his newly won world championship when Senor Money in the Bank comes out and becomes Senor Campeon. Because, Damian Priest comes out, cashes in, Money in the Bank. No games this time. Gets Drew McIntyre in the ring. Well, he smacks Drew McIntyre with the briefcase, hits the South of Heaven, gets a win to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. And this was great. So Damian Priest, the Judgment Day is up at the top of the ramp, and this was like, these guys finished their story too. It was like the Judgment Days all up there at the top of the ramp, and even though the tag team titles are no longer around the waists of Finn and Priest, we had these guys look like a real faction up there. Like they look like they were really friends celebrating. And then you had Rhea Ripley as the women's world champion, Damian Priest as the men's world champion. Great moment, I thought, for Damian Priest and the Judgment Day here.
Yes, and it's great. And that's really infused. I would have been fine with McIntyre being the champion, but I mean, really new blood as the world champ to start off the new era.
Yeah, so we'll see. I knew they had to do something. I texted you. I said I would have done this the Monday after, but it was perfect here. It was great. Really got the crowd hyped up, right?
Yeah, it was nice. I hyped him up right at the start, got him hot right away.
So then we had a street fight here between The Pride, Bobby Lashley, and the Street Profits, and the Final Testament, which is Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain. And we had the special guest referee, conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, was apparently part of the show here. No, Bully Ray. I can't call him Bubba Ray now. Like, he's not Bubba Ray anymore. He's Bully Ray. Like, even just the face of the man, like, that's not, like, Bubba Ray was a much younger man. I haven't seen Bubba Ray. This is not Bubba. You know?
Yeah, and what a weird. I know it's in Philadelphia and whatever, but it was just a weird thing to happen. We had no idea. All of a sudden, we're like, oh, it's a special referee. It's Bubba Ray Dudley.
I mean, if you had both of the Dudleys be the special referee, or Spike Dudley be the special referee, or some shenanigans where maybe Spike comes out, just something. But yeah, it was a little weird just to have Bubba come out smiling ear to ear. He put on the Dudley Boy sunglasses at one point, but didn't really do anything. They did the was up, and that was about it. But ultimately, the Pride defeated the Final Testament, and it wasn't a bad match. It was fun, and Montez Ford tried to go up through the lighting equipment with his frog splash here.
Yes, he did.
I mean,
yeah.
Geez.
You know what? Listen, controversial. I like the Final Testament. I mean, they're not going to be, if they don't win, they're not going to be taken seriously. But I like them all. I know, even Karrion Kross and his dumb long hair.
And Paul Ellering was out there as well. Paul Ellering.
Just doing nothing.
Jesus.
But
and so was, you know who else was involved in this match? Snoop Dogg, folks.
Yes, he was.
Snoop Dogg was on commentary for this one, and also kind of went in the ring at the end.
He was on something else too, but he was having a good time. He was
talking about, was that at WrestleMania when he was talking about how he was going to go smoke weed?
Yeah. And well, he was like promoting his new gin and juice drink with Dr. Dre.
Oh yeah, they have that drink.
Yeah.
The cans of gin and juice, which I'm surprised they didn't have a hydration station full of those.
Nope, only Prime, because it was in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, so the Prime Energy, well, we'll get to the Prime Energy drink logo when we get to Logan Paul's match. So then we had LA Knight and AJ Styles. LA Knight getting a victory at WrestleMania. Not much to this match here. Just kind of.
It was fine, but
yeah, wasn't bad.
Yeah, we're glad LA Knight won, but yeah.
So LA Knight, like I said, big WrestleMania win here. He drove up in my personal favorite car, the Nissan GTR. But my least favorite snack, Slim Jims. So
yeah, tough one.
Kind of torn about that one. And then apparently some lady in the front row was the winner of said Nissan GTR.
Oh, wow.
They're very loud at stoplights.
Yes. He also drove up earlier in the day in a Slim Jim smaller car as well.
No, I think it was the same one.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought it was different. Probably was the same, yeah.
So then we got the United States Championship match. The champ, Logan Paul, defending against Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. And the Prime Energy logo was on the mat. It was on the mat for all of WrestleMania. And I remember saying how terrible I thought it was going to be. But they made it just so it was like neutral colors. Like it was just black on the canvas or dark gray, whatever it was. So it was like subdued. It didn't really stick out too much. So it wasn't bad.
It wasn't very bad, yeah.
And it wasn't super big like it was that time on SmackDown or whatever.
Yeah.
It took up the whole ring. So another one where Kevin Owens went out there. Sami Zayn was waiting for him to wish him luck before it. So these two are back, best buds in story.
Yep. It was I like the way they started the story too, where like Orton and Owens we're ganging up on Logan Paul and just like kind of beating the crap out of him, and then they both realize like, oh wait, only one person can win, and we both want to win. That was a nice way to do it.
Yeah. So they just beat up Logan Paul, which is what I said this match really should have just been. It was just constant beating up of Logan Paul. And then Logan Paul had some good moments here. So we had the Prime Energy drink was present once again. Thought it was going to be KSI. This time it was I Show Speed, who I've only seen clips of this dude. So
Me too.
He what did he take? A RKO?
On the table, and it didn't break, and it looked painful.
It looked like he was dead after that one.
He splattered, and it was not selling. I don't think he was selling that. I think he was legitimately.
He was probably just had no wind. He probably was just trying to breathe in that moment. Like, when you get the wind knocked out of you, that's what happened to poor I Show Speed. And the Prime Energy drink, the cap comes flying off of him.
That was good.
I hope they keep doing this Prime Energy drink thing, and they keep having like streamers. Like one day, I hope it's just like Hassan Piker in the or what's his friend's name, Will Neff, just in the Prime. I mean, they probably wouldn't do the Prime Energy drink. I'm not sure that they're big fans of Logan Paul, but just in general, I mean, I'm sure Logan Paul's got some more people. Maybe they could have CoffeeZilla be in the Prime Energy drink bottle, and then they pull it off, and it's CoffeeZilla, and he's here to collect all the funds from Logan Paul to give to the people who all got scammed in the crypto zoo thing.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it. So this was a good match. Logan Paul got a supersized. The things he did in this frog splash, he did like 5 different things up in the air in this frog splash. In the slow mo, it was really impressive. He kind of put his arms fully extended, then came back in for a frog splash. Wasn't quite a 5-star frog splash, but it was up there.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, and he stole the win. Just like if you thought that's exactly how Logan Paul would win.
Yeah.
Trolling.
And there were brass knuckles involved as well.
Yes.
But who did he hit with the brass knuckles? Randy Orton, and then he just kicked out? Just completely kicked out.
Yeah.
Of just a straight brass knuckle shot he kicked out of.
Hey. It's so what?
Like, it's one thing to no-sell a move, but you just kicked out of being hit with brass knuckles. I don't know.
I like to think that he wasn't supposed to do that, and he was like, fuck this.
So then we had the women's championship match, Io Sky defending against Bayley. Bayley's gear here was super cool. She's got this new Egyptian theming with her gear. Kind of reminded me of like Kenny Omega. I don't think he's Egyptian, but I just mean he's worn like the Anubis stuff before. And we had Io Sky. She had a cool entrance too, I thought. We didn't talk about Seth Rollins' entrance with all the Philadelphia parade people.
Yeah, that was good. Oh yeah, that was fun. Yeah,
but it was. I just thought they were wearing all of his old ring costumes, and he wore out like
it could have
his
been
old outfits. Yeah. They're all from Seth Rollins' closet. But yes, the women's championship match. This was a good match.
I really enjoyed this match. I love Io Sky. I would watch her wrestle any day for hours, and yeah, Bayley was. Should have won. She did. Everything was good. It was a great match. I don't want to say it was my favorite match because I still love Cody, both Cody matches. But other than those two, I think this is my favorite match.
Yeah, this was a good match. I'm glad Bayley won. Got her moment at WrestleMania that she deserved.
Absolutely.
Damn fucking right she deserved it. So then that was about it. Then we got to the end of WrestleMania with Cody dethroning the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. So now we'll get back into some thoughts overall on WrestleMania. I thought it was, you could tell they presented it as if it was the biggest, most important, and best WrestleMania of all time.
Yes.
If we're judging the quality of the wrestling and everything else, I don't know if it was the best WrestleMania of all time. It was one of them. There was definitely some big moments, and the ending was like on screen. They presented this Cody Rhodes winning the championship as this is like what they wanted to accomplish with every past gigantic babyface victory, every Hogan win, even the Warrior beating Hogan, Bret Hart winning at WrestleMania 10. When John Cena and Batista both won the championships at WrestleMania 21, when Eddie Guerrero won at WrestleMania 20 and retained against Brock Lesnar, and then had that moment in the ring by himself in the glorious moment.
Yes.
And then, all the way up to like Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30 and Kofi Mania and even like maybe Seth Rollins beating Brock Lesnar. But this is everything that they wanted to accomplish in those moments, all happening overload. Because at this point with Cody as a good guy, nobody doesn't buy Cody. Like, did anybody think Cody shouldn't have won? Whether or not you thought he was going to, did anybody really think he didn't? Like, he's not there yet. They need to do a little more. He's not the guy. He doesn't have the look. No criticisms of Cody in this moment, right?
Yep.
He is the guy for the moment and then some, you know?
Yeah. You're right. It's true. I agree. I tend to agree with you. I don't think it's the best WrestleMania ever, but it definitely was important and had a lot of big moments, and it was very good. So that's all I asked for. Thank you. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah. So speaking of Paul, and another thing that we were beat over the head with was the fact that, for one, WWE is doing a great job of kind of like telling you how successful they're being right now, which is fine. They're selling out every Raw and SmackDown, right? I mean, let's face it. If you were going to a Raw and you found out that basically The Rock and CM Punk were going to be there, okay, that's going to sell some tickets. Even The Rock just being back in wrestling, even if he's not going to be there maybe tonight, you know, when you go to whatever show you bought a ticket for, it's still a hot time in wrestling, and the shows are, in general, even aside from the big name stars making appearances, the shows in general are a lot better for just people who want to either turn on the TV show or buy a ticket and just watch a fun show, you know?
Yes. Yep.
So they're on this crazy hot streak, but really what it is there's new ownership of WWE. They're a much larger entertainment like conglomerate. They're much more savvy with getting outside eyes and voices and influencers and celebrities and movie stars and music stars, and they're much better at connecting this to the mainstream. And then on top of it, Triple H is giving you these stories that you don't have to be embarrassed about watching wrestling. No one's getting covered in dog food. You know what I mean? No one's having a kiss my ass match. Like, you know, there's nothing more embarrassing about being a wrestling fan than just the general fact that you like this fake stuff and, you know, you haven't matured past the arrested development of being a wrestling fan. But so when you combine the idea that you can bring all of these outside influencers in, and then the product itself is actually worth watching, you know, it's kind of like a magnifying glass on it, right? So we're in this era, and then on top of it, you've got this story, Cody and Roman. They did kind of fall into this, let's face it, right? Because Roman's been the champion since the beginning of not the beginning of the pandemic, closer to the beginning of the pandemic than the end of it, but, you know, because he did go away at first. But Roman's been the champion since there were no crowds, right, in 2020.
Yep.
Cody was in AEW, and then they signed him because, you know, you can go back and rehash that story. He wasn't looking to go to WWE for 6 straight months in his last 6 months of AEW. He wasn't saying, I'm out of here in 6 months.
Yeah.
It kind of just happened. But look what you got out of it. You've got, and the story of the lineage of the two families, like, they could have screwed this up so many different ways, and they didn't, right? So when you bring it all together, and then you have the moment of Cody at the end, and he is the flag bearer of this new era of WWE, they spent about as much time giving us that fact as they did giving us actual entertaining wrestling on this show. Just the idea that this is a new era, and we could talk about what we should call it, but it's the Triple H Paul Levesque era. And it's like, okay, I'm fine with giving Triple H credit for everything. I mean, really, if you think about it, Black and Gold NXT starts off, that kind of predated AEW, right? So he was on to something there. And then now for him to take over the main roster and basically fine-tune it to get rid of everything that sucks, and then make it, put people around, bring in people that can make it, you know, a lot better. And Triple H is obviously, you know, making the show a lot better in general with his ideas. But to do all that, it's just, what they capitalized on it. You know, they didn't let anything go to waste. Like they told you over and over again, this is a new era. Look at Cody, and guess who brought you all of this? The Game, Triple H. No, he's definitely not the Game. I don't think I heard anybody say the Game one time this weekend. It was Paul Levesque. So
yeah, except for Motorhead there, whatever his name, Lemmy, with the intro, with a song.
Lemmy. Yeah. Lemmy was they're still playing the Time to Play the Game. Woo. But yeah, so they really I feel like I said, half the show was just them telling you that this is a new era, you know, and so there was a little bit of, you know, the propaganda kind of laced in there. I mean, on Friday we had Paul Heyman saying that in his Hall of Fame speech, that for the rest of his life he will be a Paul Levesque guy, right? A little bit
take it easy, yeah.
A little bit of Paul washing going on here, I think.
You'd love it.
So it's not lost on me, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not taken, you know, by the bright lights and the sensory overload and the, hey, look over here, don't look over there, folks. So it was a great show. We are in a new era. Everything was executed on by all the performers amazingly. But, you know, let's make sure we're still following the facts. Is really the only thing I would encourage people to do. Don't get blinded by the narrative, the myth, or the propaganda, and just make sure that the facts are what we're following.
Yes.
When we're, you know, heaping praise on Triple H in this time. So yeah, so that was WrestleMania 40, WrestleMania XL. And before we get out of here, we do have to take a few minutes and acknowledge the reign of our tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Because without Roman Reigns, none of this is possible, right? Because you could not have someone be the WWE champion for 3.5 years.
No.
You couldn't. Because they would have gotten stale, they would have gotten booed, and you would have had to pivot. Or people would have stopped watching. And none of those things happened over the last 3.5 years with Roman Reigns as your Universal Champion.
Just pretty insane. Unheard of these days.
So I've been saying this for months, is that The Rock takes up all the spotlight. All the segments have been The Rock and Cody. What's The Rock going to say? What's Cody going to say? And Roman, you know, he took kind of a back seat in this tail end of the story. But again, do not forget who your tribal chief is. And it is Roman Reigns, because his run has been phenomenal. Dare I say, the greatest championship run of all time. Did he have the most matches? No. Did he have the single best ever match? No. But again, carried the company through a dark time, and they didn't just get through it. This wasn't Diesel as the champion, okay?
Yeah.
Where we're just getting through to the next stage. He elevated the championship. He elevated the company. He elevated wrestling. He elevated his family. He did all of these things, and he is one of the very best of all time, Roman Reigns. And we have to, whether we see him again in 6 months, whether we never see him again, we have to kind of acknowledge that we, you know, lived through the Roman Reigns era. You can call the next era whatever you want, but this has definitely been the era of the tribal chief.
Absolutely. And it was a great story as well. Like the tribal chief and the bloodline, one of the best stories they've had in years and years. It was so entertaining. So
the
yes,
bloodline
Roman
story, probably the best story of all time, I think.
Yeah, and like we've said it many times, like on the show, we're talking not on the show, just about wrestling is, and not everyone can pull this off. You really have to be really great at this as well. And everyone in the bloodline was great, especially Roman, to pull these kind of things off, especially with the Sami Zayn stuff. Well, when it get too corny, like all the kind of stuff that was rehashed, but not the same and boring. It was just amazing. What an amazing run.
And the vindication that all this has been for someone who, I mean, Roman has had the potential there from the beginning. It was never hidden. Everybody saw it, But then what we also saw was stuff that was kind of cringeworthy at first. And then he's getting booed out of the building in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
At the Royal Rumble in 2015 when The Rock is coming back simply to raise his arm and try to give him the rub just by raising the arm of the Royal Rumble winner, his cousin, Roman Reigns, the big dog at the time. And the boos, right? And it's just Roman getting booed. Roman and Triple H main eventing WrestleMania getting booed, people leaving. Right? All of these years where they shoved Roman Reigns down our throats and we said, like, no, give us anything but this, right? And then for that to just turn completely on its head to, like I said, Roman being the needle mover, the tribal chief, and one of the greatest of all time. It's incredible.
It's very incredible. And I did see him tweet today that, or whatever it's called now. Yesterday was for morning, and today's back at it, day one. I'm like, oh man, Roman. It's gonna be back. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? Like you said, 6 months, maybe years. Who knows? But it'll be epic.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten used to him taking off 3 months at a time. Like last year, we saw Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and he didn't wrestle again until SummerSlam. So, and nobody was really like, it was fine. We've come to expect these long gaps with Roman Reigns. And yeah, man, what is the return going to be? Because he's going to be gone, hopefully, for long enough to make us not forget about him, but we're going to be moving on to newer and different things. CM Punk is eventually going to come back. Drew McIntyre is, I mean, maybe he's staying with WWE at this point. Who even knows?
I know.
But Seth Rollins still, one of the best, right? Like, it just, you couldn't have done all this without Seth Rollins as well. But when Roman comes back, whenever that is, it's going to be like that's like when he speared the Fiend, right? When he came back, it's just going to be like, oh shit, there's Roman Reigns. And
yep.
I can't wait for that. So yeah, so that was WrestleMania. And before we get out of here, we're going to talk just a little bit about what do we think the reign of Cody is going to be like here. So we've been talking about Cody finishing a story. Story is over. The story's finished. The Night King is dead. The King of Westeros is Cody. And that's it. George R. R. Martin can go to sleep.
That's right. Hey, I mean, for me, there's no Canes, there's no big shows, So it's like that. Like when Daniel Bryan finally won his, he ran into that Kane feud, and usually it's lackluster. So
yeah, he's got to go. Yeah, so Cody has to go to Extreme Rules and defend the title against Kane, Corporate Kane.
That will happen. Yes, that's what I'm saying. No, but like I always wonder what they're gonna do, because it's almost like in TV when like two like TV characters, will they, won't they, and then they finally get together, and then when they finally get together, you're like, okay, now what do we do? Because what do we care about now? Same thing when a big babyface wins the title. It's like, okay, they did it. Now what do we do?
Yeah, it's like when Stone Cold's the champion. What do I do now, right? Or John Moxley's the champion. Now what do we do? So yeah, so I think that where they go from here is going to be very interesting. Just so you've got a draft coming up in about a month, which I think it's due for one, especially after they've had so many of these stories come to these conclusions, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not thinking anything from WrestleMania. We don't need to have, like I said earlier, a steel cage match next month as the final blow off match here. These stories are all pretty much done.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of making a fresh start from here, as it should be, like when a television show has a season finale or a series finale, or when a sports season has the Super Bowl, the World Championship, because that's what wrestling is. It's both sports and fiction. So
yes.
But it's not sports entertainment anymore, apparently. Do you know that?
No, I didn't know that. Triple H said so.
Gone. Sports entertainment. Sports Center what? So, yeah. So for Cody, WWE has the next, I think like all of the next premium live events are all overseas. So there's Saudi Arabia. They're going to Berlin later in the year. They're doing Clash at the Castle in Scotland. I believe they are going somewhere for Money in the Bank.
What's the next paper? What is Backlash next? That's in France.
Oh, that's what it is. They're doing Backlash in France. So I think that if Drew McIntyre stays with WWE, you've got Drew McIntyre there I know he's with the world title now, but there's going to be a draft. All this stuff is going to get shaken up. So especially if you're going to Scotland, Drew, he could still be chasing the world championship, right? But
Yeah.
so Gunther, right? He lost the Intercontinental Championship. Like I said, he lost nothing in that match. So now what we have here is a future, WWE. Apparently, it's not going to be the Undisputed Universal Championship anymore. It's going to be just the WWE Championship now. So you've got Gunther there for Cody. You've got, Randy Orton, right?
Yeah.
Legacy. They've never really had a feud since Cody came back, Cody and Randy Orton.
That's a great one. Yeah, I forgot about that. Absolutely.
You've still got AJ Styles. He says his career is almost over. Maybe he could be the Kane here. But he lost.
I wouldn't mind that. It's a little different because Cody, like we were talking about Cody earlier, he's such like like you said, he's the Hogan, Cena, Lex Luger, all wrapped into one, Bret Hart, right? So he has all those attributes. So he can kind of like, if he wants to be a fighting champion and just say, hey, I'll take on all comers, I think we'll buy that. If he wants to be like just like uber babyface guy who, I don't know, he can do whatever he wants, and I think we'll all accept it. So that's why it's a little bit brighter.
Well, if he was a real fighting champion, he would issue an open challenge and he would take on the indie god, Matt Cardona.
Hey, never say never.
But so I'm curious where they go with Cody, if they just do these sort of smaller, like, you're my opponent this month, you're my opponent next month. And of course, we did get on Raw, the Raw after Mania, we did get the final appearance here for quite some time of the final boss, The Rock. And he basically let us know that he and Cody's story is not done, which this is what I said. Cody has to finish the story against The Rock.
Oh, yeah.
So there we go. We're leaving that book open, folks. The story, will it continue? It's like now we're going to Marvel when we say, the story is finished, and then the tagline at the end will say, The Rock will return.
Yep.
And you don't know when. It'll be 3 years from now, but The Rock will be back.
And also, just some house cleaning. Jey Uso did win the 4-way last night, so it's going to be like Cody against Jey. First off, I guess.
So Jey Uso is the Kane of the story.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. They were tag champions. It's like Cody can be like, yeah, you earned it, you deserve it. We're friends. Let's just have a fight. That'll be fine to start.
Yeah. So I'm very interested where WWE as a whole goes from here, because they did it. They tied up the loose ends. Like they need to start a whole new thing here, and they need to basically do it without The Rock and for a while without CM Punk. So very interesting what they do with their new babyface world champion, American Nightmare. So yeah, so that was WrestleMania 40. I thought it was a great show overall. Like I said, I don't know if I'd call it the best WrestleMania of all time, but definitely one of the most a pivotal moment in WWE right now for sure.
Yes.
And I don't think any security footage from WrestleMania backstage is going to make its way out, but there will be some security footage this week on Dynamite. So we will be back, folks, and we will be heading back into some AEW business here, because the Young Bucks, Tony Khan, they're saying they're going to release the security footage of CM Punk. We are going to dive right into that head first on the next episode. So thank you for checking out the podcast. Thank you for Ricky Stanicking with us until the end of the show. We appreciate you here as always. You already know where to find the podcast: YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Watch Wrestling Pod on Facebook. We see you, Facebook family. Subscribe to the podcast on YouTube. Be kind, like, subscribe, and share. What does this button do?
I'm on everything.
What's a baby face? He might need attention.
Watch Wrestling with Mike Wellman. Help me.